Hello, bonjour Alberta. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Français in Alberta? And those numbers just keep on growing? Oui, oui, c'est vrai, it's true. And thanks to Shaw TV Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about special people, places, events, and activities happening right here in this great province, in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English, and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Restez à l'écoute.
Bienvenue, welcome to Hello, Bonjour, Alberta. My name is Luigi, Soundproof La Barrière, your host for this evening. And today we have a very special guest that was just got back from the Toronto Film Festival and be sharing that with us today. Her name is Sara Corry.
Correct, Sara Corry.
Welcome to my house. Bienvenue chez nous.
Merci.
Yes. Now, you were at the Toronto Film Festival this year, right?
Correct, yes. I was there with the small Alberta-based film collective that I'm part of called North Country Cinema. With a film called The Valley Below, which I had the privilege of co-producing.
The Valley Below. And what is the story behind the movie Valley Below?
The Valley Below it's based in Drumheller. That's where we actually shot it all. And it chronicles the life of a small town over the course of 1 year through 4 intertwining but separate stories.
Separate stories? What kind of stories? I'm kind of curious. I heard about the city, but I want you to tell us, or the audience, what it's all about a little something.
So Drumheller is a really sort of unique place, and that's what kind of drew the writer-director Kyle Thomas to create a feature featuring some stories of people that live down in the valley. It's a very kind of self-contained area. You know, and it's got the kitschy business of all the dinosaurs and everything else, but there, you know, despite all the tourists that come through there, there are people who live there every day.
Yeah, it's kind of legendary also for the dinosaurs pieces also. There's really dinosaur artifacts?
Oh yeah, tons of them. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait to visit it.
You have to. You must.
I guess I'll do it through your movie.
You must. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So yeah, so like I said, it's the course of 1 year. We shot seasonally, so we have a summer story, and then a fall and winter and spring, and each section has its own main character, and it's about the relationships in their lives, and they're all very sort of common things that happen, but they're very individualistic when they happen to you.
Okay. How about we look at the trailer of the movie and come back and talk a little bit more about that movie and your link between all the producers.
Think you'll ever leave this place?
It has to be for a really good reason.
Like what? Like a really good job or something?
Well, maybe, because, like, I can get a good job here.
And we'll just watch the trailer of The Valley Below, a co-production movie of Sara Corry and 3 other producers, right?
That's correct. So North Country Cinema is a small film collective. Started in 2005, and there's 3 main producers, Kyle Thomas, Alexander Carson, and Cam McGowan. And I hop on board on our Alberta-based projects as production manager. And for The Valley Below, I was production manager and co-producer this time around.
Wonderful. And the way you guys met was kind of coincidence, because I'm from Montreal also, and you guys met in Montreal, exactly?
That's right, we did. So Kyle Thomas and I went at the same time from Alberta after we graduated high school and moved to Montreal, and we're both going to Concordia Kyle was in the Mel Hoppenheim School of Cinema, and I was taking communications. And at the Mel Hoppenheim School is where he met Alexander Carson. And you know, we all went to school out there and even lived together for a while and became really good friends. And then moved back to Alberta, and that's where we met Cam. And then so now we have our friend Alexander, who's now living in Toronto. So there's 3 of us out here in Calgary, and 1 in Toronto, and then we also still have the Montreal connection.
Oh, wow. So that was the moment, you know, going to university. That was the different moments of creativity. You probably talked about that project while in Concordia, if I'm not mistaken. Is it possible?
I'm not sure about that particular project, but I mean, there's always ideas in the works, and there's always been this idea of wanting to create a collective, because it takes an army to do what we do, and we're just there to support each other, and it really works as a collective. It's very hard to do these kind of things on your own.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
Now, the movie's in English?
The movie is in English.
Subtitle in French?
Maybe if it gets Quebec distribution or European distribution, perhaps. But at the moment, we have Canadian distribution, but in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you speak French?
Yes, moi je parle français.
Okay, super. We'll have the chance to, we'll have the chance to talk to you. But when you were in Montreal, you had the experience to practice your French and discover Montreal and all these different facets. How was it for somebody from the West Side, English, going to the East and in the French environment? How was that?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I'm from Ontario originally, so I was in French immersion my whole life since I was just wee, and then so you know, spending my junior high and high school here is out in Alberta, speaking French a little, but only really in school, right? And then going and moving to Montreal was great because you just get fully immersed in the culture, and you know, you can choose whether you want to speak English or you want to speak French. So you make that choice every day of whether you want to, like I said, immerse yourself in the culture. And I chose to do it because I love French and I find it very entertaining language, and why not grab hold of it if you're surrounded by it.
Right.
Think you'll ever leave this place?
Have to be for a really good reason.
Like what? Like a really good job or something?
Well, maybe, because like I can get a good job here.
Just saw the trailer of the movie The Valley Below. Now, Sarah, can you tell me what that segment, that trailer is all about?
Sure, so that kind of gives you just a nice overview of a quick little glimpse of all 4 stories together, and the music that you hear is from The Wooden Sky. So what's one interesting thing about The Valley Below is we have all original composition from 4 different artists for 4 different sections, and Ray Spoon is actually an Albertan artist who lent their talents to the first section of the film.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And who's the other ones you were telling me?
Eamon McGrath, and then we have Dan Mangan, and then we also have The Wooden Sky.
The Wooden Sky.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and The Wooden Sky is a Toronto-based band who we actually got to spend some time with while we were out in Toronto for TIF.
Toronto. Okay. How was the whole Toronto experience?
The Toronto experience was crazy. It was wonderful. Such a whirlwind. Parties every night.
Red carpet.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, as producers, you don't really do the red carpet as much as the director and the actors do. That's kind of their world, and then you just kind of wait for them to be done, and then you all go to the same party together. So.
You didn't have the chance to be interviewed about what you were wearing, from who you were wearing?
Well, what I was wearing came from my sister's closet, so it wasn't, you know, like too crazy. But you know, we all got dressed up, and we wore our heels and we wore our ties, and it was a wonderful experience. And like I said, it was very busy, very whirlwind, and but we survived, and now we're back.
Yeah. So, like you said, you traveled Toronto, you've been in Calgary, you lived in Montreal. Did you have the chance to discover other part of the world? We're presenting films or producing films? Or
Actually, funny you should say that. I just returned from a trip to Kenya in June.
Oh, okay.
I am producing and directing a little documentary. Well, I shouldn't say little, it's going to be a half-hour piece about a group of 2 Calgarians called the Old Guys in Action. And what they do is kind of like physical challenges to raise money for some charities that they're involved in.
Oh.
So we went to just outside of Nairobi to a place called the Mully Children's Family with the Old Guys in Action to run some marathons to help the Mully Children's Family build a university.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems like a title of a movie I would see Burt Reynolds and Hulk Hogan starring in it.
Maybe. I don't know how the old guys would feel about that, but do be careful when you Google the Old Guys in Action, because you never know what's going to pop up.
Okay.
That's a joke that they love to make.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was very lucky to be able to go and spend 8 days in Kenya with them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk about jokes. I know there are different jokes in different part of the world. When you were in Montreal in French, what kind of jokes you didn't get or you got or kind of entertaining to you?
I just find the whole French language entertaining to me. You know, just the way that you say certain words. Like if I had to pick a favorite French word, it would be écureuil, because it's écureuil. Yeah, I don't know why. I just love the way that sounds when it comes out of your mouth.
The squirrel.
The squirrel. That's right. Yeah, and yeah, I suppose just like, you know, when I first moved to Montreal, it was just an interesting experience, because the French that they speak there on an everyday basis is very different than what you learn in school. I mean, I was taught, you know, proper Parisian French, and then that all went right out the window the second I stepped foot in Montreal. Oh, yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean, it's for what it's worth, I learned a lot of what I like to call dirty Québécois in Montreal. So it's a mixture of French and English, a little bit of franglais, you know. Yeah.
And you have franglais on, for people who are probably going to give them little guides. You got franglais on Saint-Denis Boulevard, and you got franglais on Crescent Street. Which franglais do you like more?
I would probably say Saint Denis, but because Crescent was always like more of just like the straight up university crowd, like so English also. So it's mostly the imports who are not from Montreal. So I liked to go and immerse myself with all the people who were from Quebec.
Saint Denis. Yeah, you starting to see the same reality here in Calgary, I could imagine, right? Like French sector or French community, stronger community here.
A little bit stronger than it was, yeah, for sure.
And now, if we compare the franglais dynamic of Montreal, do you see dynamics like that going on here? Like, is there a French community?
It definitely is, but I mean, obviously not as much as Quebec. And Quebec is its own universe within Canada, I really think. But you know, there's more and more of a French presence here in Alberta. I have noticed that. I used to work in the restaurant industry for quite some time after university, because it is hard to find a media job, isn't it? And so I just found that there would be more and more tables that would come in that would be speaking French. And of course the whole restaurant would nominate me to be the one to go serve them, and so I kind of got to practice a little bit with them too. But as far as a French presence, it is getting larger here for sure. Yeah.
And it's getting so large that you have a French roommate.
I do have a French roommate, absolutely. She's a little import from Quebec, from Sherbrooke originally. Yeah, and so she moved out here. She was in Montreal as well, and so she moved out here just about 2 years ago because she loves snowboarding and loves the Rockies so much that she decided to make a change and come to Alberta.
Okay. And you were saying you can't wait to go back to Montreal. Well, I left to come to Calgary. Okay. So explain that to me.
I think just because the time that I spent there in university, meeting all the people and just living in a different city, different than Calgary, was such a great time. And I still have a lot of friends who live there, and I try to go back at least once a year. And I still, you know, have creative collaborations with people I know that live there. So, you know, if I could live in any other city in Canada, it would definitely be Montreal, hands down.